And again, it just seems that we're stuck on some things, you beautiful people. I loved my first live. All right, it was fantastic. I loved it. Guys brought up a lot of good questions, and I hope I answered some of them for you. But there were a couple out there that asked about this question, and the video before I went live was, um, "Who's God? What is God? Who are you, ladies and gentlemen?" And I posed that question, and you gave me some very good answers down in those comments. So, and what we're talking about in today's video is because, again, you guys are stuck just a little bit. And again, it falls back to, we're going to cover a lot of different topics today about today. But the main topic, that there was a couple questions I was asked, that were asked of me during that live event. And I was like, wow, that's okay. Maybe it does need to be talked about, because I was going to talk about it before in the beginning. And today, ladies and gentlemen, and again, when I talk about this topic, it's going to cover a broad range of things that I'm going to recover again. So this video might be a little bit longer than necessary, and again, it's a good one, and it needs to be talked about because it touches on so many different things. So what am I talking about today? What was asked of me in the live event? All right, well, here it is. Jason, could you please talk about the second coming of Christ? Could you please talk about the book of Revelations? Because that's what we're talking about, right? And it boils down to, who are you? Who is God, right? And we can even jump back into my video about fear. What is fear? Because this topic covers it all, ladies and gentlemen. And I was hoping that you guys would get it, but that's okay, because sometimes we just really need to dive into, again, the Bible at times. And if you remember the greatest lie ever told, I told you I think about it, which is true. So we're going to cover a wide range of topics today, and they're going to be broad. They're going to be covered. I mean, if we want to cover it more deeply with some questions in the comments, that's fine. But, in today's topic, the book of Revelations, is it real? Is Jesus coming back? Is there going to be judgment? Is he going to stand above us all in the sky where everybody can see, and all those that are worthy going to be taken home, and the rest, well, too bad for you. You're going to have a really tough challenge to try and make up what you didn't accomplish here with supposedly karma, right? And it's going to be, as described, hell on earth. So let's talk about that. So let's talk about what that question entails. Is there going to be a second coming of Christ? Is Jesus coming back? Where does that stem from, ladies and gentlemen? Stems from fear, doesn't it? You are, again, and that's why I asked you a couple weeks ago, who is God? What is God? What are you? Again, and I've told you this, I will tell you this a million times, you are not a body. This is a vehicle for you to get around and accomplish your mission here. That's it, okay? You all identify yourselves as male or female, a girl or a boy. You're neither. Okay, you're not. Quit identifying yourself as male or female. It is simply a vehicle that you chose because it has the greatest benefit to you accomplishing your mission here in this realm. That's it. That's why you are in that particular vehicle. For me, it happens to be a male vehicle. All right. What does that stem from? Let's roll back into the fear video. Okay. The second coming of Christ is fear-based. You are expecting judgment from home, the non-physical, from Father, right? Who are you? Remember when I asked you that? We can go back into the Bible. When Jesus said, "Is it not written in your law?" I said, "You are God's." Ladies and gentlemen, you are God, okay? This vehicle is not you. You are simply creating this vehicle right now as you're listening to this video. You are creating what you look like. You are creating the world that you walk out into every single day. Where you are in the world is where you need to be right now. There is something you need to learn. There's things that you need to accomplish there. That's it. Okay? Excuse me. I'm going to take a drink. So again, you're basing that off fear. Does fear have limits? No, right? You can, wow, that gave me a little fright, right? Or you could have been just utterly terrified, well, where you've peed your pants, you know? Fear has no limit. Love has no limit, right? How do we conquer fear? What does the light do to the darkness? The light crushes the darkness, right? What does love do? Love crushes everything and fixes everything. Ladies and gentlemen, remember what I told you you are. You are the direct manifestation of your Father, of God. You are God. You are love, you are light, and you are about a basketball size of immense power and energy and love. Again, ladies and gentlemen, you have the power to make the stars bow to your will. You are no different than the being you know as Jesus Christ. 2 millennia ago, he harnessed his power. It wasn't just the only Son of God, if I do believe that was in the Bible that was delivered to the angel. Was that the new King James? Where he says, the only Son of God? And that was just for, that was the was interpreted by the translators. So you are the direct manifestation of God, ladies and gentlemen. All right? So I know I'm talking about a few different things here and there, and that comes back to, again, the second coming. You are all horrifically frightened of being judged for things that you have done in this timeline that you are in right now. And it is simply that, it is a timeline. I said it, I will continue to say it. Some don't believe it, but that's all right. There's no good or bad or right or wrong. We're in the matrix, we're dreaming, all right? So you remember when I was trying to get it done in the live, you guys were just chatting it up and going, and I was truly honored. But remember when we all decided to fall asleep, right? When we all came up with this cockamamie idea to all of a sudden come from this, which is oneness, right? We're all one. It's such a generic statement. I hate it because you really don't understand the depths of oneness, right? So when we're one with our Father, we're one. Everything is one. Everything's taking place right here, right now. So something that took place 10,000 BC, right? It's still taking place, but it's taking place right now as you and I are talking. So when we decided to separate ourselves from Father, from oneness, right? What happened? We created instantly 3 things. They're still with us to this day, right? We created fear. Okay? That was number 1. 2, guilt, shame, right? From separating ourselves from Father, which is physically impossible to do since you are God. It's like condemning God to hell. You're condemning God to a place that doesn't exist, right? So it's kind of funny when I did that. I was condemning him to hell when my son died, and that probably had to get a good laugh. So, So when we separated, and then what else was created? The third thing, the ego, right? So what do? All right, ego, here you go. Here's the reins. You run the life. And if I asked, a majority of you, are you happy where you're at right now? Are you having fun? Good portion of you are going to say no, right? And again, where does that come from? Your thoughts are incredibly powerful. They are what are creating what you see and live in every day in this dream, all right? So when we all decided to go to sleep, right, what happened? I mean, you know it. I mean, it's been here through our entire existence in this timeline. They talk about it, the greatest event that ever took place, right? When we all fell asleep, what happened? Boom, the Big Bang, right? We began dreaming, the universe was born. Boom, the greatest explosion ever. All of us sitting here watching this video right now, we're a part of that process, and we're continuing to do that right now. How? I just read online a new star is going to be forming, and you're going to be able to see in the night sky the explosion from a new star that we're all dreaming about right now, that is being created, that we're going to see with our physical eyes. Amazing, ladies and gentlemen, right? So in that moment of us feeling or wanting independence or separatism created the fear, right? And that same fear, if we roll forward to the live video when you asked, or whoever it was, please talk about the second coming of Christ. It's never going to happen. It's not real. Okay? There is no judgment being held on any of us. There's no, why would that take place? Right? There is no judgment, which stems from fear. Okay? I mean, we can keep going round and round, and that's what Jesus was trying to talk about. There is going to be no second coming. Right now, we're going through the greatest change that this world has seen in millennia, through our 5D consciousness, right? So we're going through that right now. We are advancing this species intelligence greatly, which is taking place right now. But for all of you that are stuck on the Bible still, there is going to be no second coming of Christ. No one is going to be judged. No one is going to be left behind. Listen to me very carefully, everybody, all right? Everyone goes home. Everyone. You're going to shed this vehicle like a trade-in when you go to the car store and you want another model, right? Well, when we go home, we trade this in and we get a new model when we come back, all right? That's it. There is no second coming of Christ. We have to get over the fear that we have done nothing wrong. And where was that instilled from, ladies and gentlemen? Where did this millennia of fear keep being fed to us? Through the church. The church is the one spreading these lies, right? I mean, we can go back to the Council of Nicaea, when educated men decided, not with a physical, with their physical minds, not their spiritual minds in part, decide to write Jesus out of the Bible. Why? Fear. They feared him. They didn't want all of us figuring out who we are, right? If we figured out who we are and accessed our divine powers, which we have in here, because I told you before, I have begun to. They've made it way more difficult now for me, but it's like I'm back at the beginning of the starting blocks. But that's why the church kicked Jesus upstairs with the boss, so to speak, right? To get him out of their hair, to get him out of the way. So what did they do when they started to take over the Bible from the Jews? But even by the time of Christ, remember? They took over the Old Testament and then began in 382, the New Testament. So what are they afraid of? They're afraid of all of us finding our divine powers through our guidance system, right? It's going to lead us where we need to go, whether you all like it or not. It's going to push you in the way that you need to be. And, for me, here I am. I never in a million years thought I would be a teacher, sitting here making videos. And I laughed at YouTube when it first came out. I said, what a joke. There's the irony of it. Here I am helping all of you out through, this experience that I had of dying. All right. And the reason I can sit there and do these videos is because I know who I am. I know exactly what I am and how powerful I am. I've experienced my power when I left my body. We all have in our NDEs. We know that we were instantly juiced and, home. All right. I know who and what I am. I know that there's no fear. Death does not exist, right? There is no death. This body, when we're done with it, let me tell you, I had no love of it or want to be back in it. It is simply no different than I jumped in my Jeep to go run some errands this morning and came back. When I come into this world, I jump into a body, a spacesuit, and I do my thing, and then I leave. It's beautiful, ladies and gentlemen. Transitioning home is simply the most beautiful experience you will ever have. And there is nothing to be afraid of. The church fed you those lies and that bullshit for millennia. They don't want you knowing how powerful you are. They don't want you knowing that you don't need church, religion, marriage, any of these physical things down here to go home. We are given two very powerful keys. And one of these days in these videos, I'll talk about it. One is our guidance system, and two is our sexual energy. Have any of you out there have had a full body orgasm? When we're talking about our sexual energy, it doesn't come from physical touch. Your orgasm will come from your whole and complete entire body. That is the sexual energy that I'm talking about that we were given. Now, all of you out there get horny, okay? All of you masturbate. It is a beautiful and wonderful thing, all right? Step one in overcoming this fear, which was another question that I've been getting a lot lately too. And it feeds into this. Like I said today, it's going to be a very broad topic, but for the most part, it is on the book of Revelations, which even encompasses, the, the outright, utter banishment into hell for, the unforgivable sin, which we can talk about in a minute. But the number one thing you have to do, ladies and gentlemen, and the church has talked against this as well. You need to love yourself. You need to take care of yourself, ladies and gentlemen. That means this: hugging and kissing yourself, loving yourself. How many of you have told your body that you love your body? Your body responds to your thoughts. It does, ladies and gentlemen. And 90% of our thoughts towards ourselves are of lower vibrational. I'm fat. Look at these wrinkles. Look at, my skin, we're complaining about ourselves, right? Well, we don't eat very well, right? We shouldn't be eating processed foods. We should be eating organic foods grown in the dirt, right? No chemicals, no this, no that. Trust in Mother Gaia to provide for ourselves. We should not be eating processed foods, period. And I really don't eat anymore. I eat salads, I eat fruits, I eat vegetables, nothing out of a can, nothing out of a box. I eat a lot of protein, healthy fish. I do eat meat, so you guys are going to have to get over that. Jesus ate meat. He ate lamb. He ate fish. Get over it. We have to eat. It's unfortunate the way the species has to get its nourishment. Something has to die. Whether you pull an apple off a tree or something out of the ground, something has to die for us to eat. And it sucks. I hate it. But it is what it is. So eat healthy, and my body has responded greatly, along with my positive thoughts, my loving affirmation, and more information keeps coming to me, ladies and gentlemen. So please look at this, listen to this. There is no judgment. There is going to be no second coming. We are evolving, and when we evolve this species into a higher form of consciousness, we're going to see huge improvements, including the way we eat, the way we think, and how we interact. We will be interacting for the benefit of all of us, okay? Governments will actually begin to work for all of us and not their selfish little selves right at the moment. But prior to that, World War III is coming. I've talked about this in the live video. It was given to me as knowledge a few years ago, okay? People say, a lot of people say in about 100, 150 years, there's going to be world peace. It's coming quicker than that. We're evolving quicker than I thought that we're moving towards. And it's happening very quickly right now. It's going to take place this year and into a little part of 2025. So things are going to get crazy. Things are going to get nuts. And you're going to see some crazy stuff take place. But we have to stop World War III, ladies and gentlemen. We have to. Millions and millions for the next 7 years will die. They're ready to. We shouldn't have to do that, okay? We shouldn't have to. So how do we fix this? We love one another, ladies and gentlemen. We don't judge. We don't condemn. We don't attack. We have to let go of the ego. We have to stop. We have to love one another and accept that person in the checkout line in front of you as another version of yourself. You are God. When you walk out into the world and you're looking around, you are projecting yourself 8 billion different ways around the world. All right? So that person in front of you, that person behind you, at the gas station, in the movie theater, wherever, is you. Okay? Love them as yourself. Jesus said it in the Bible. Love one another. Love your neighbor. Why is he saying that? Because that neighbor is you. The guy in the gas station is you. That girl checking you out at the pharmacy is you. Love one another. Love is the key, ladies and gentlemen. It will solve all our illnesses. It will solve all our fighting. And it will solve everything. We need to love one another. So, look at it that way, and that's what I do. People say, well, how come you don't get mad anymore? Because I look at that person as me and say, okay, I'm having a temper tantrum right now. Best of luck, good luck. We don't have to attack, we don't have to judge, and we don't have to condemn. All right, which is all our fears, right? Our vehicles are getting up there in age, right? Some of us are in an incredible amount of pain. We don't feel pain, the body feels pain, right? Excuse me. You have never felt pain. You never have, you never will. The body does, but again, are you your body? You most definitely are not. So is Jesus going to stand above everybody, tonight, tomorrow, 10 years from now? And all of a sudden people are just going to vanish and all those unworthy trash going to be left sitting here going, oh my God, this is truly it. I am doomed, right? Does that even sound like God to you? No, it doesn't, because again, it stems from you not knowing yourself and not knowing who you truly are, which is God. God is love. And I'm talking about a love that none of you can even possibly imagine. All right? You can't. Unless you've had an NDE, you do not know the love that I am talking about. It is beyond description. And in this limited vocabulary that we have, this barbaric, archaic language cannot come up with the words to describe the love of home and who we are. All right? We are light. When I merged with the light, when I was in const with the light, that light, it didn't know it at first because it boggles and it does everything to you. But when I merged with the light and became the light, where my knowledge and everything came, who was I? What did I merge with? My higher self, which is God. I merged with myself at home. My part of my personality, right? The part of me that is actually in this vehicle is our personalities, ladies and gentlemen. Where did we get our personalities from? From millennia of lifetimes. Some of us hundreds, some of us maybe in our 50s or 60th time here. For me, I've transitioned over 3,200 times, probably 3,000 of them here. Probably the 200 or 300 were off somewhere else where I still felt connected to home. Like we all start out. We only come here because we've got our feet wet and we've been around and we have done some things. So the fact that you're here on this earth, the fact that you are listening to this video is paramount to how powerful you are. Okay? To all of you who are listening, to my followers who I love deeply, thank you so much. The fact that you're listening to this video is paramount to how powerful you are, that you have been here before, you have chosen this life, and you and your Father have the utmost confidence in your abilities to accomplish what you came here to accomplish. And make no mistake, ladies and gentlemen, you will do exactly that. When we get a little bit older and our bodies get up there in age, right? We have a tendency to take that, 20-ish mentality that we have, right? And we really cool our jets, don't we? We really mellow, like, man, I couldn't be my 20-year-old daughter right now if I wanted to. I would be dead. I wouldn't have the energy, the bar hopping abilities, and shit, man, if I really go out and have a really night out drinking, it takes me 3 weeks to recover, for Christ's sake. So to have that 20, no. Couldn't do that. So you're waiting for Father to come and straighten everything out is the next message I get. Well, Jason, why doesn't God come down? Why does he allow suffering to happen? Remember, what kind of planet are we in, ladies and gentlemen? What kind of realm are we in right now? We have free will, right? It's your free will to come up there and punch somebody in the face. Well, who are you punching in the face? That person that cut you off or, talked, nasty to your child or, took something from your grocery cart? Who is that? That's you, right? So why does anybody have to come down here and rescue anybody? That's not our Father's job. We came to the hardest place in the universe, or the top 3 hardest places in the universe to check this stuff out. Right? Nobody's coming here to rescue us. Why? We don't need to be rescued. There's nothing wrong here. You're never going to die. It's a playground. It's an illusion. It's a dream. There's no saving that needs to be saved. When this body is done, you simply go home. And when you're home, you're going to sit there and you're going to watch your life review. I did not get it. All right? And let me tell you, when my life review comes, I own it. I will own it. I will own it. There's going to be some things in there that I just don't want to see again. I know I hurt people with my words, with my fists, as a child, as a teenager. And, it's just things that I'm not proud of. I've accepted them. I own them. And, do I love them? I know it's going to sound odd. Yes, because I've learned from them. And that's why we're here, ladies and gentlemen. We're simply here to learn. We're simply here to find who we are. Now, yes, I've had an NDE. I know who I am. And I've got a great way of explaining this to you, and it just popped into my head. All right, I saw a very good movie about a couple months ago, and this was a great way to describe it. It was a movie called The Risen. It was about Jesus rising from the dead, right? Remember the Roman soldier, Clavius? He witnesses the death of Jesus. He's telling the Roman centurion to suck it up because he knows that this man was wrongly convicted. He's crying, this Roman centurion, right? And Clavius comes up to him and he says, "Steady yourself, man. Make sure he's dead." So he witnesses Jesus, right? And now they find out that he has risen. So they're looking for him, and he kicks in the door, and there's Jesus with the disciples. And he drops his sword and he backs out, and he's like, so we're going to fast forward a little bit. So Clavius sits down to Jesus while he was meditating. Jesus looks over at him. He says, "What do you want to know, Clavius?" And Clavius, doesn't know how to pronounce it. And he goes, Jesus asks him, what are you afraid of? And Clavius says, to be wrong. And he says, with everything you've seen today, imagine those who haven't and never will witness what you just saw, my physical death of the body, and here I am. And Jesus says, imagine what they face, what you and I face, what Clavius got to see 2 millennia ago, the death of somebody being crucified, and then 3 days later to see him sitting there, eating and drinking with his wife and his friends. And Clavius it's like an NDE. It shook his world to the core, right? As he wanders out into the desert, knowing the truth, he saw it. There's no way to unsee what you saw. But Jesus made that very powerful point before he ascended. He said, imagine what they all face, which is what you are facing now, ladies and gentlemen, right? The not seeing, the not knowing. It is fear-based. There is no second coming of Christ. The earth will never die. The earth doesn't even exist. Remember when we all fell asleep and, all of a sudden, in the history books, when you hear about space and all this, you heard the Big Bang, boom, the universe was born. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was just us falling asleep and our creativity coming to the forefront. When I said I was one with everything, that is the sun, the stars, the moons, the black holes, the dark matter, the gray matter, everything that has ever existed and will exist is me, is you, is everyone. For you are all that has existed. For all that I am you. You, ladies and gentlemen, are God. You are divine. You are eternal. You are incredibly powerful, creative, divine beings of immense love and light and energy. And there is no second coming of Christ. There is no book of Revelations. There is no judgment. We came here to have fun. We learn by contrast, right? Don't label those contrasts, right? If all we know is love, how do we know the opposite of love? So until you're hated and somebody says, I hate you, you don't know what that feels like, right? Don't label it. Well, that was bad. Quit it. Just stop. It's harming all of you, all right? You came here for contrast. Like, you know, we all know, like right now, it's 32 degrees out here in Wisconsin, all right? It snowed. We got like 8 inches of snow the other day, and it's freezing. It's back into the low 20s. So, all right, I was in the love and light. It was warm as the sun. Now I'm sitting here free. We learn by contrast, right? But don't label that contrast. Learn from it, chop it off, and then move on. Quit living in fear. Quit living in something that happened 40 years ago to you, right? Why do you want to relive something that doesn't exist anymore? Chop it off. Learn from it. Learn from that contrast and move on and better yourself, better your knowledge, which is what we are doing here, right? So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. There really is no getting around the book of Revelations. And remember what I talked to you about the unforgivable sin, because this comes in, you know, to the horse shit that the church made up about the unforgivable sin. What is the unforgivable sin, ladies and gentlemen? Every atheist carries it with them. And when my son died, you know, I told him to go to hell too, meaning my father, right? It's the outright rejection of the Holy Spirit, right? Well, if you don't believe in God, you don't believe in any of that crap, then what is that? It's an outright rejection of the Holy Spirit. But yet every single atheist who's had an NDE has the most beautiful NDE ever. But that's the outright rejection of the Holy Spirit. When my son died, I cursed God to hell for taking my son. I cursed him to the very place that you're all afraid of, because it doesn't exist. So I'm sure he got a big kick out of it, but, you know, made him chuckle maybe. But, you know, I was quite upset at the time. So I meant every word of it. But yet, in all of my experiences that you all know that I've had, I had a most beautiful NDE. There are no demons. There's no hell. There's no sin. There is none of that shit that the church made up for millennia. You know, it's kind of like asking you guys, if I asked you this, do you believe in Santa Claus? Do you? But you lie to your children every day. Is it any different than what the church did to you? But now it makes a big difference, because now you're getting up there in age, right? And now, you know, this body is going to be kaput soon for some of us. And whoa, now I got to take this stuff seriously, right? It is simply fear-based, ladies and gentlemen. You all have nothing to worry about. You are all love. But what I want you to understand, and what I want from you guys, and hopefully next week, I will probably do a short video tomorrow. I'm doing another live event for you guys, because you guys really, you know, I just have to get a premium service, and I'll allow people to come into the studio with me. You know, we can have a quick conversation and allow somebody else to come in. So I'll get that set up sometime this week, so look for that. But it's all fear-based, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to live in fear, that's lower energy, that's lower vibration, right? Okay. If you want to stay in the dark, if you want to stay down on the ladder, right? That's up to you. That's the world you create then, right? Woe is me. Why does this crap keep happening to me? Why is this? Why that? Okay. Lower energy. If you want to remain up where I'm at, you have to live in love. You have to love yourself. Love yourself. Dote on yourself, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, that includes making love to yourself. Touch yourself. Tell your body how much you love your body. If there's something you want changed, I mean, come on, ladies. Or to the female drivers out there, you know, some of you may want bigger boobs, right? So tell your body, hey, look, I love you. I'm sorry I treated you poorly these years, but you know what? Let's fix that. But, you know, I want my boobs bigger. I want my chest a little bit. And your body will begin to respond. Your boobs will get bigger. If you want more hair, you don't want thinning hair, you tell your body. How does your body know what you want? Have you told it? I never knew that. I just found that out. So yeah, I tell my body what I want now. I've begun to heal. Like when I cut myself, I'm telling you, these cuts heal real quick now. So it's a process, ladies and gentlemen. We came here to work. That's what this playground is. We came here to work. If you want to sit and do nothing, that's fine. When you incarnate again, you're going to pick up right where you left off. You know, you're not going to be some rich millionaire standing on a stage. You know, you're going to pick a life that your soul wants to, or your being wants to work on, right? So, you know, the place that I was born into, the things that I experienced were partly because that's where I needed to be born. This is what I needed to experience, right? And I had a hard life. It's been one of, you know, less abundance and scarcity. And that's because I believe in poverty. It's because I believe in scarcity, which I don't anymore. I created that for myself. So that's what I'm at. So now I'm in the process of reversing that. And they are helping me. I got really good at it. I got really good at meditating. And now they threw such a monkey wrench into me that it's worse than starting over again for me. It really is, you know, and they'll do that. They want to make sure that when you get close to your manifestations, that these things that you're asking for, when you talk and you sit and meditate, and you can just sit there and sit there and just tell your mind while you're meditating, quiet, just quiet, just quiet, and just think of quiet. And if that's all you do for 20, it doesn't matter. They're taking notice, ladies and gentlemen. The non-physical is taking notice. I'm up at 3 o'clock every morning. It went from being up at 5, and now they've reversed it all the way to 3 o'clock in the morning for me. I wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm out here on the couch. I'll meditate for 20 to 30 minutes, and I'll lay there for another hour and just internally do the same thing as I'm laying down, and then I'll fall asleep. They take notice of that, okay? They know that you are now trying to commune and talk to them, and they will respond in force, ladies and gentlemen, okay? They want to see you do that. It doesn't matter if all of a sudden you're sitting there and all of a sudden 5 minutes later you're starting to sing a song. That's the ego, right? You have to tell the ego to fuck off. Take a hike, right? Because now you know that they're listening and you are doing your very best to send your energy there, your mantra, which is, I don't believe in poverty. I'm very wealthy. I believe in love. I'm going to have a good wife. My children are healthy. Be grateful for what you have. Tell them that you're grateful for what you have, right? And know that your sickness was brought on by you. Whatever that is, whether it's depression, anxiety, this, that, or the other, cancer, it was brought on by you. What do you mean, Jason? How? I didn't ask. Yes, you did. Through what? The ego. You judge others. You are not judged. Do not judge. I told you this. Do not judge. For you are not judged in any way. No matter what you have done, are you judged. All right? So your sickness comes from judgment, through condemnation, through attacking. That's all lower vibrational energy, which, when enters your body, does not do good things. And you know that by your anxiety, your depression, your sickness, right? So how do we cure that? Through love. Through empathy, which is the greatest form of love. And right, when all of you saw the, Hamas attack Israel, you got all upset and, some of you cried seeing the dead bodies out there. That's empathy, ladies and gentlemen. That is well received at home. And when I saw it, I began to cry. Empathy, ladies and gentlemen, that's the lesson, right? Learn from it, all right? Remember, we are not our bodies. Get that through your head. Second thing, learn who you are. Because asking me about the book of Revelations, it's a good question. All right, I'm not saying that. But who are you? When I asked you, who is God? I correlated them too, because you're one and the same. All that I am you, meaning I am God, right? So what's there to fear? You're just experiencing life in a physical form for a brief millisecond of what we would consider time, since time does not exist. All right? So, who is God? Who are you? Okay? Learn who you are. When you get up in the morning, when you're showering and you're rubbing yourself, are you your body? No. Quit worshiping your body. You put makeup on, you do this, you glorify yourself with all these beautiful clothes. You're worshiping the wrong shit. All right? Do not worship your body. Love your body. I'm not saying to not love it. No. Love your body. Kiss it. Yes, make love to yourself. Touch yourself everywhere, ladies and gentlemen. Love yourself completely, through and through, like every NDEer does. It took me a couple of years, but I truly love myself in every aspect of who I am, and it will not stop. It will not stop. And that is where my love for all of you comes from, because I know when I'm talking to you right now, I'm just talking to different versions of myself. So some of you are further up, some of you are further down, and that's okay, because we are all rising in our 5D consciousness, and nobody, I repeat, nobody, no matter how you believe or what you believe, will be left behind. We are all advancing. We are all here on this earth to advance this species, which is called human. That's it. All right? And the third thing, follow your guidance system, ladies and gentlemen. Calm yourselves. All of you who listen to this, whether you're driving a male body or a female body, whether you have children, you're single, you're in a relationship, and those of you that are subscribed to my channel and are watching me or are sharing these videos are already keen to the fact that we are more than our bodies. We are more than who we think we are, which is incredibly true. All right? Find yourself. Sit down, cross your legs, Indian style, right? And I just fold my hands like this. Sometimes I'm like this. Some people sit out here like this. Some people sit out here like this. You know, I like it this way. It's comfortable. Quiet yourself. Quiet your mind. Listen to the non-physical talk. Listen to yourself talk. Well, who are we talking about? We're talking about your higher self, who you truly are. Again, I am not Jason Janis. I am my higher self at home controlling this avatar. Talk to yourself. Your heart and your mind are one. Those are one. They are connected. And they do what you want. Okay? Heart and mind are one. That's a good thing to start with when you meditate, ladies and gentlemen. You know, when you can calm yourself and it's quiet, you can hear it. You say, heart and mind are one. Heart and mind. And if you do that for 20 minutes, they are taking notice. They are sending you information. They are talking to you, okay? Shut off the TV, put your phone down, shut off your computer, and sit down with the lights off when the kids are in bed or whenever you need to, and sit there and zone. I do it twice a day, once in the morning when I wake up, and before I go to bed. I will sit there and I'll meditate for a little while. Half an hour, 40 minutes sometimes a little longer, because I get lost. All right? Come up with some more topics for me, because we're done for today. There is going to be no second coming. There is no book of Revelations. There is no, human God standing up there with a baseball bat laughing at all of us unworthy trash that, he can send to a place that doesn't exist, right? The fires of Gehenna, ladies and gentlemen, were not meant to be turned into hell or a lake of eternal fire. It was simply a garbage dump in Jerusalem, outside of Jerusalem, where human sacrifices took place of children, babies, and their bodies were just simply thrown into the fire, burning for centuries, millennia. Hence, hell was created. Now everybody's going to say, well, Jason, we've heard people talk about it, Dave. I told you what the void is, ladies and gentlemen. The void, the moment, let's clear this up, because this will help too. The moment you leave your body, remember in my video, in my NDE, we'll use this. This is a good thing before we go. In my NDE, the moment I left my body and I was ensconced in that love and light, even though I was in the ICU, right? I was still in the void, ladies and gentlemen. This was my imagination in what I was creating, correct? Yes. So even though I was out of my body and had this beautiful, I'm being held in the light and the love, right? I am still in the void. The same thing that Howard Storm said, he was being chased by demons and torn apart. He wasn't. That was his energy. That's where he was energy-wise, in a dark place. My energy was much higher. I received the love and the light. We were both in the void. He created one thing. I created something completely different. The void is instant knowledge. It is instant energy. It is pure consciousness. What you think of in the void, it instantly arrives. Not when I'm thinking, that all of my mantra of getting out of here and, abundance hasn't happened yet. It's in a physical realm. It takes time. It's coming towards me. It's like when you plant a garden, right? And you put the seeds underground. Do you expect it, a 6-foot plant for corn stalks? No, you don't see all the hard work in the ground of that seed, right? Sitting there and being watered and nurtured by Mother Gaia, right? You don't see that seed where all of a sudden it may start to vibrate 3 weeks later, right? And all of a sudden, bloop, little sprouts come out, right? And it digs its, roots into the Mother Earth and getting all its nourishment. And then when you least expect it, all of a sudden you walk out and all of a sudden you see little green shoots, right? You don't see the work that's taking place underneath the ground. So when you're praying, when you're asking for something, right? You don't see what's taking place, like the mustard seed, right? You don't see the garden and what that seed is germinating and doing and living and growing and what it's going to do for you. It's kind of the same thing in the void. When Howard Storm had his hellish one, I had a beautiful NDE in the void. My energy was higher than his. He was still stuck in the physical realm. I have a good job. I have good money. How can I do that? I have a good wife. I have plenty of cars. He was stuck and he couldn't take back what he wanted. You will not take the physical realm with you. You cannot. So he created a dark, NDE for himself. And then he turned it around by Jesus, our Father, boom, energy up, light comes, he goes home. Same thing with me, okay? The void is pure consciousness, okay? What you think of in the void instantly comes. I created a beautiful NDE. Howard Storm created a hellish NDE. It's where you are in your mind. Remember, I told you that, ladies and gentlemen. Your mind is incredibly powerful. It's incredibly powerful. It creates your physical world that you see every day, whether you are speaking it like me out loud or whether you keep it inside your head. All of that energy just mixed with, it's gone into the non-physical, it's melted with, the good energy, and it's coming back to me. But if you want to dish up negative energy and hate and violence, well, it's going to go mix with more hate and violence, and it's going to come back to you. You are the creators of your world. You are an incredibly powerful, divine, eternal being of love and light, and it will never die, ever. You will never die. There is no book of Revelations, ladies and gentlemen. I love you all so very much. Thank you so much for showing up. Live video, probably coming up again, probably Friday night. I thought that worked really well. So probably about 7 p.m. Central Time. I will get this other thing going up for my live, which will allow you guys to come into the studio if you want a one-on-one with me. We can ask a couple questions, and if there's more that want to come in, then we'll just exchange everybody. But I was thoroughly excited to see all of you there on the live. So it was my fault it got messed up. We won't have that problem this Friday. So look for that. I'll do another video tomorrow. I'll make one once I get this set up, and we'll go from there. Again, good question. Book of Revelations. It's never going to happen. No one's being judged. No one's going to be left behind. Everybody goes home. Put your comments, put them down there, what you want to see and hear. I did think of that other one where it was like a small Zoom. So if there's a bunch of you that want to do like a Zoom meeting, or we can do one in the studio, can do like 5 or 6 people. If you want 5 or 6, put your names down there. And we can just have a fireside chat, where we can just sit down and you can spend some real good quality time with me. We can exchange some energies and we can talk. So that would be out there for you guys as well. Put your comments down there on some videos that you would like to see, and we can go from there. I love you all so very much. Thank you for your love and support. I do this for you. I do not do this for me. I've told you this before. I love you all so very much. I do not want to see you suffer on the hands of the church. I do not. They have done more harm, and Jesus is very upset about it. He does not like what the church has done to him and about him. And I promised him that I would pick pick it up and finish what he was unable to do. And that is to tell all of you who you truly are. And I will get all of you there who are truly willing to listen to these videos, to understand the power that you have within you. You are an incredibly powerful being. And I love you all. I do this for you. All right. Put them down there. I will read them. I look forward to seeing you guys this Friday. And I know some things are going to come up. Do I believe in the holidays? Do I believe in that? No, I don't. Again, they're made up. Okay. Jesus was born. I was born. Big deal. I'm going to die. He died. Well, he's going to transition. He did. I'm going to transition again. Does it really matter? No, it matters about how much love I put into this time, and I will put it out, and I will help all those that I can, because I love you all so very much. I truly do. So I hope you have a blessed week this week. I look forward to seeing you guys Friday night. I love you all.